Hi there, I'm Anya from Peony and Time, which is a small shop for knitwear and knitting patterns. You can find me on Etsy, on Instagram, and as of just recently on Ravelry, all at Peony and Time, and I'll have links for all of those in the description box below. So today's video is the final video in a 4-part series called How to Knit in 4 Easy Steps. Video number 1 was all about casting on, video number 2 was the basic knit stitch, video number 3 the basic purl stitch, and today's video, the final one, is all about casting off. And like I've said before, as with everything in knitting, there's more than one method for doing this. I'm just going to show you my favorite method. Alright, let's get right to it. Good. So again, for this video, I'm using Wool-Ease chunky yarn in the color indigo. I'm using the recommended needle size, which is size US 10.5. And then for this step, we were also going to need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. So as you can see, I've already cast on and knit a small swatch in the stockinette stitch, which just means when this side faced me, I did the knit stitch across here. And then when I turned it around to the other side, I purled across. So the needle with the stitches in your left hand, the empty needle in your right hand, and you are just going to do the basic knit stitch, just like we learned. So find that space, wrap your yarn around once, pull that back through, pop that old stitch off, and then one more time, you're gonna find that space, wrap the yarn around, just your basic knit stitch. All right, you wanna have 2 stitches on your right needle. And now, this is where it gets fun. With your left needle, you are gonna grab this back stitch. So just put it through that space right there, and then you're gonna leapfrog it over top of that stitch there, and then let it go. And then again, you're going to do 1 knit stitch. So again, you have 2 stitches on this right needle. You're going to find the space, grab that back stitch with your left needle, and pull it over top of that stitch, and then let it go. One more time, do the basic knit stitch, grab this back stitch with your left needle, and then pull it over top. And that is it. So with binding off, it's a little bit tricky right at first just to figure out the correct tension. You don't really want it too tight because that's going to pull your work in at the end. It'll make it look a little bit too tight and puckered. But if you do it too loose, it can kind of look really sloppy. So there is nothing wrong with having it take a little time to figure out just what your tension should be. Just going to continue that with the rest of these stitches. Alright, so now we got to the very end. We have 1 stitch left on this needle. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pull that a little bit to get a little more yarn coming through so that you don't accidentally drop that stitch. I'm going to grab our scissors and I'm going to leave a long enough tail here that you have some yarn to work with. Let's see. I'll go just like that. Alright, so you've got kind of a decently long tail there, a few inches. I'm going to take our darning needle and go ahead and thread that. All right, and then I am just going to put that through this loop. Pull that kind of tight there. Then, now that I'm done, you can see it's all bound off there. Got a nice little square. Then I'm going to take the darning needle and just weave this in and out a few times in these stitches. Just pick like 3 or 4 stitches. All right, so I went back and forth a few times, and then we just have this end here. And then, very carefully, trim that end piece. And there you have a nice bound off edge. And that's it, guys. All right, so once again, if you made it this far, congratulations, because you now know how to bind off. So in video number 1, we learned how to cast on. In video number 2, we learned the basic knit stitch. Video number 3, the basic purl stitch. And video number 4, this video, we learned how to bind off. And with just those 4 simple steps, guys, you're gonna be set to make all sorts of really, really beautiful knit items. And I would love to see what you've made. So if you want to tag me on Instagram, which is where I'm most active, or on Facebook too at Peony and Time, I would love to see the projects that you're working on. Alright, so once again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful week.